I didn't want to bother you with this Reb Chaim, printing a picture and this and that, because this is our Reb Chaim in stencils. So we'll see if we get up to him, Hashem. But all right, starting first Chabura since Kabbalah Satira, brand new, appropriate to start a brand new topic, brand new chelik of the Mishnah, brand new Aschala. The Mishnah says, first category was Dinei Mamanis. Dinei Mamanis b'Shlosha. Can't find the Mishnah, hold on. Dinei Mamanis b'Shlosha, we went through all the different cases, spent quite a while on Motzi Shemra. Is it 3 or is it 23? About, I don't know, we should count up, maybe 8 different options in the Gemara. I had to explain that Machlokes we spent time on. And now the Gemara, the Mishnah says Makos b'Shlosha. So the Tanakama is of the opinion that to administer Malchus, to give lashes for one of the losaises in the Torah that gets Malchus, you need 3 dayanim. So there are limitations, which hopefully we are going to get to see a little bit, but the Torah tells us that the source for Malchus is in close proximity to the losase of losachsom shor bedisha, that you're not allowed to muzzle an ox and make him suffer, that he's not able to eat while you're grazing with that ox. So the Gemara says, in order to get Malchus Chazal Avidrasha, you need Dumya de Lav de Chasima. That if in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't parallel the classic Lav of Losachsam Shor B'Disho, that is the par excellence of a Lav that gets Malchus, so then that's not going to get Malchus. Okay? So we'll see. Makos b'Shlosha. Makos needs 3 dayanim. Minani mili. How do you know this? Amar Rav Huna, this is in the Gemara on Daf Yud Amud Aleph by the 2 dots. About, Abe. A lot of 2 dots.
17 lines.
17 lines, good. Makos b'Shlosha. Minani mili. Amar Rav Huna, how do you know that Malchus is 3 dayanim? So Rav Huna says, Amar Kra. The pasuk says, the drasha goes as follows: V'shaftum shnayim. V'shaftum. What's the lashon of the pasuk? I don't know if people have this. If you have on the side, the pasuk is in Shoftim. Dvarim Chafei.
It's on the left side.
Ki yeriv bein anashim v'nigshu el hamishpat ushvatum v'yitztikos hatzadik v'yirshuas harasha. So the pasuk says ushvatum. He should be judged b'lashon rabim. Shnayim, so it's talking about who's going to judge. They are going to judge him. Ushaftum, ushvatum. They are going to judge him. So it means plural. Any plural, by definition, is at least 2. Ve'ein bezdin shakel. We know that you can't have an even bezdin because you need to be able to be machriya to tip the scales. Mosifan aleya no dechad. So that's how we get Makos b'Shlosha. Harekan Shlosha. Shaftum is 2, and then Ein Bezdin Shakel Mosifan aleya dechad. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? Go on in the pasuk. Ela me'ata. The pasuk continues to read, V'hitztiku shnayim, because the pasuk says, V'hitztiku es hatzadik. And those dayanim now came out and they made righteous the one who is righteous. V'hitztiku es hatzadik. V'hirshiu es harasha. And they now caused the person who was a Russian evil man to now get a punishment, and he's going to get punished. V'hirshiu shnayim. So the pasuk continues. So therefore what? Add all those numbers to the amount of dayanim that you need for Malchus. How much would that be? Shaftum is 2. Hitztiku is 2. Hirshiu is 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. Ein bezdin shakel. So what do you have? Maybe every bezdin for Malchus should need sheva. Harekan shiva. Why would you say 9? No, we only have to have Bezdin Shakel in the bottom line. The point of Bezdin Shakel means after you have your number of whatever the Torah delivered, you need to tip the scales.
We're making a limud from the plural.
Yeah, but we're adding.
But it says
But it's,
fatum,
but
stiku.
no, but the point is you don't add 1 to what the Torah says. You add to whatever the number the Torah says. If it's an even number, you add 1. That's the halacha of Ein Bezdin Shakel. It's not a halacha that whatever the Torah says as 1. At the end of the day, if it comes out to be an even number, you add 1. That's the halach of Ein Bezdin Shal.
But why can't you say it's multitasking? The same two, do this, and this, and that's just the 3.
Oh,
Right?
excellent. Good point. Good. So the simple answer is because men don't know how to multitask. But for a woman, it would be a good kasha. Good. So the Gemara says, no, that pasuk is talking about, very similar to what Abe's saying. That pasuk is talking about a totally different story. That's not for the number of the dayanim. That drasha v'tzdiku and v'yirshiu, that's not for the number. That's for Ula's drasha. What's Ula? The Amar Ula, listen carefully, because Ula taught us, Remez le'edim zoymim min ha-Torah. Remez le'edim zoymim min ha-Torah. Remez. We're not going to talk about that now, Adi. Remez le'edim zoymim min ha-Torah. A source, a hint, for edim zoymimim in the Torah minayin. How do you know? Gemara says, a source for edim zoymim in the Torah minayin? Remez le'edim zoymim? What do you need ramazin? What do you leave your drushes and your gematrias for another time? I have a pasuk over here. Says the Gemara, remez leidim zayim. You want to give me? You walk into shul. Such a chap. I found a remez for the idea of edim zayim. So the Rav is going to come up to you and be like, Shkoyach, I have a pasuk. V'hoksiv kasher zamam. Of course, I don't need any ramazim. I don't need any kabbalah here. I have the straight up psukim.
Remez for Shabbat.
Oh. So says the Gemara, Ela remez le'edim zoyimimim sheloikin minayin. No, I have a hint to something that I didn't know. How do I know that edim zoyimimim get malchus? Dichsiv v'yitzdiku es hatzadik v'yirshu es harasha. The pasuk says, as we just said, hitzdiku es hatzadik v'yirshu es harasha, that we should give merit and take care in a good way of the tzaddik, and the rasha should be punished. Mishum de yitzdiku es hatzadik v'yirshu es harasha v'hoyim ben Makos harasha. Gemara asks, I don't understand. If you're doing everything right, you're giving the good result to the tzaddik, and you're taking care and you're punishing the rasha. So why does the pasuk go on to say v'hoyim ben Makos harasha, and therefore you're going to get malchus? The pasuk doesn't read right. Rashi, let's see Rashi. Mishum, Dira Maskal Mishum. It's the last Rashi of the skinny lines. Mishum. The Bezdin hitzdiku es hatzadik. Once Bezdin took care of in a good way, they were mezaka and they gave merit to the one who was righteous. V'yirshu es harasha, v'hoyem ben Makos es harasha tzidkas tzadik lama huzkur kan v'chi mishum tzidkas tzadik mischayev rasha malchus. Says the Gemara, I don't know how to read this pasuk. What does the fact that the tzidkas tzadik have to do with the rishas rasha? The reason why we're being matzik the tzaddik is not because of the rishos of the rasha. So how do you read this? Elavadai, it has to be a totally different alternate pshat. Elavadai edim zoybim mizi hacha. Da edim koi hai vim haya ben Makos. It's talking about what? No, it's tikus tzaddik and yeshuas harasha, not in someone who violated or classic iser. It's talking about there were people that tricked us over here. And what happened? Bezdin was under a false assumption. And what happens? Things got rectified. So what happened? There was Baruch Hashem Etzdiku es HaTzadik. The person that we didn't originally think was a tzaddik. Baruch Hashem, there were Edom Zoymimim, and they said those Edom are liars. And therefore we can save the tzaddik and be matzdikim. And now what do we have to do? We have to be Marsha the Rasha. Who's the Rasha? The Edom Zoymimim, the liars. Oh, now you get Malchus. V'hoyim ben Makos harasha. Now Mishum Itzdiku Etzadik V'Yeshuas harasha. Now it's V'hoyim ben. Now the pasuk reads like a charm. The Edom Koi V'hoyim ben Makos the Achkamar Edom She'Yeshu Tzadik. Edom that originally lied and made the Tzadik into a rasha. The Huzmu and they become liars. V'Itzdiku Edom Achroinim and Baruch Hashem the truthful Edom came in. V'Itzdiku Es HaTzadik and they saved the Tzadik. Varinasu Rishoim, and therefore these Edom Zayim, that are liars, became Rishoim. Elu are Edom Rishoim v'Yilku. That's what the pasuk goes on to say. V'hoyim ben Makos harasha. So the Gemara says, V'meino inyan leidus mamada in lokin mishalm taniu in leben Grusha. So what's the case? So Rashi tells us that this is not talking about a case of a classic case where Edom were lying in the area of financial law. But rather, Rashi says, This is a specific case of Einim Zoymimim by a Ben Grusha. And this is similar to what Rashi says in the first Rashi. Remez le'edim zoymim shaloikin. What's the title of what we're talking about over here? The fact that if I walk into court and I say that Eidim Zoymimim say that he's Chayav Malkus, and then I watched him eat Chazer, right? And then Eidim Zoymimim come in and say, on the day you said you saw me eat Chazer, you were with us, you're a liar. So so now what happens? The Torah says, Kasher Zamam. They get whatever they intended and wanted to deliver to the litigant, to whoever was the nidon about. So that I don't need a Gemara for. That's not what our Gemara is for. That's Kasher Zamam. Kasher Zamam, of course, applies to Malkus, just like Kasher Zamam applies to financial matters if you wanted to cause him debt. And Kasher Zamam applies to Nefashos as well. You'll get Nefashos as well. So what's Remez Le'edim Zoymim Lemalkus? Says Rashi, we're talking about one specific case. The opening case in Meseches Makos. This is the beginning of Meseches Makos is today's shir. What's the case? Says Rashi. Remez Le'edim Zoymim Shaloikin. Heicha de'ein azama yichol l'skayim b'hem. What happens if I give edus about a person, but I can't get kasher zamam, what I intended to give to him, what I conspired to try to deliver to him? Kegoin me'idin anu b'ish ploini shu ben grusha. I am Yisrael, and I'm testifying that this person is a ben grusha. His father, a kohen, married a grusha, and therefore what? He's a chala. You know how much damage I'm doing to this person? He's now not going to get truma. He's not allowed to work in the kahuna. He's not allowed. There's so much he's losing. So the Gemara says, when the kids are losing, he's the chalal. He's a chalal. He is the kid. He's a ben grusha. Ben grusha means he's a chalal. So the Gemara says, so what? So what happens to the Eidim Zoymim? What are we going to give them? So says the Gemara, the Nimtzu Zoymim, and they found out liars, Vareim Kohanim, Ein Omrim Yasa Ze Ben Grusha Tachtov. What are you going to say? Oh, yeah. So now you, the Yisrael Dika witness, you're also a Ben Grusha. Very nice, I'm a Ben Grusha. How does that change my life? I could be a Ben Grusha. My father can marry a Grusha. What's the problem with me being a Ben Grusha? So we're stuck, the Torah says. Right, but most cases he's not going to be a Kohen. So what do you get?
What if he was a Kohen?
No, you still would have this halach. So the Gemara says, because it has to be across the board. So the Gemara says, Ela what? Enom Yaseh Ben Grusha Tachtov. Ela Soifigas Harboim. Rather, he gets Malkus. That's the whole title of our shir. That's Ula's drasha. How do you know that in such a case that what they're going to get Malkus? That's our pasuk v'tztikos atzadik v'yeshu harasha. That's what the Gemara came on and answered. Don't add on v'tztiku and v'yeshu to be 6 and then 6 total and then you're going to have 7. No, because you need it for this din. So good. We're going to get to there. That's what we have to analyze. So you made the people who were telling the truth correct, and you made the Rishoyim into the Rishoyim, means after Azama, and therefore they get Malkis. That's Ula's din. Good. So we now, even in cases where there is no Kasher Zamam, we still give them Malkis. Ask the Gemara, of course they get Malkis. Understand. The Torah says you're not allowed to lie. Right? One of the Aseres Adibros. So shouldn't you get Malkus? Eloisa say you should get Malkus. No? Why shouldn't you get Malkus? So the answer is no. And this Gemara is about to tell us what we started this year with. You don't get Malkus by every Loisase. Why don't you get Malkus by this Loisase? Says the Gemara, Mishum dehavale lav she'im b'maisa. This is one of the rules. You need dumya de lav de chasima. Just like when you muzzle the cow, it has to be an action. So too, you only get malchus if it's a lav sheyesh bo maisa. If it's a lav sheyesh bo maisa, there's no malchus. From loisane, even though these guys lied about the ben grusha, I wouldn't have gotten malchus because the lav sheyesh bo maisa comes along the pasuk v'tzdiku et sadak v'yeshu es harasha to tell me that they still get malchus. Good. B'chol lav sheyesh bo maisa ein lokalov. End of Gemara. Good. So now, Dr. Bacon said something very interesting. He says, is that Xeris HaKosov? So let me explain to you what he means by that question. I have a question right now. There is a halacha that edus, we've spoken about it a few times, but by definition, edus needs the idea that it's efsher lahazima. What qualifies the edus as good edus is the fact that you can actually get hazama and actually be delivered and get the consequences that you intended for the other party. So therefore, there's a fear factor. There's actually something that's going to deter me from actually giving false edus. That's edus she'ata yachol azima. The Gemara says many times, we saw some of the Gemaras, kol edus she'ata yachol azima, lo have edus. If we spoke about the Gemara, about the chavera, about the woman Talmud Chacham who didn't need hasra, and the Gemara says maybe they came for a different reason. The Gemara says, so the edus is no good. Because if they didn't give asra, so then they didn't know that they were going to deliver her punishment, so then you can't give them the punishment. So that's a cloud the Gemara keeps running with, that you need that deterrence. You need that fear factor. So comes along Tosfos in the first Tosfos in Maseches Makos. And Tosfos says as follows. Oh no. Did I tell you the wrong Tosfos? Dine Mamanis Shlosha. This is the first one in Sanhedrin. No? In Makos, yeah. Let's get the place in Makos. Yeah. So let's get it back. Okay. It's okay. Baruch Hashem for WhatsApp. I'm going to take a picture of the Tosfos.
Exactly, I know. You're fired. Cannot get home on time.
Kapura, send. Okay, everyone should be delivered a Tosfos and Makos right now. You should know, I would never do this in YU. This is only, I trust the Chevra here. Did it come? Could not connect.
Does this mean you can't throw this in the garbage?
The phone, you mean?
Yeah.
Phone you can throw in the garbage.
Anytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it has,
Kadosh Baruch is Michael. It's like Parshas Saita. Okay, I can't get it. Fine. I'll read it slowly. Meidin Anash Bishploni. Tema. Kevon dim huzmu eina nasin ben Grusha v'chalutza. Top one, yeah.
oh, it is the first one.
Good. Tema. Kevon dim huzmu ein nasim ben Grusha ven chalutza. I don't understand. If you're telling me and you're admitting what we just said, that if they become hazamified and they get caught in a lie, they're not going to be considered ben Grushas and ben chalutzas because they're Yisraels at the end of the day. And even if they are Kohanim, we're not going to get that punishment. Im Kain, I'm on the third line. Did it go through? Im Kain, gam b'shelo yuzmu, eich yase al piem ben Grusha. Dahochiyu ha'emes. V'amai, hohavi la'edus shiata yocholam ezima, ve'in za'edus. So Taisus asks our kasha. So then the whole edus is not a good edus, because since you can't deliver the hazama, so there's no deterrent factor, so then the edus shiata yochol azima, so it doesn't apply.
Is the malchus considered in place?
Good, excellent. V'yesh loymar, listen to what Taisus says. Kevon de loikin, since they get malchus, which where do we know that from? Our drasha, v'tzdiku es hatzadik v'yeshu es harasha. Have a kasher zomam? No. That is hazoma. That is kasher zomam. V'ave shaper ata yochol azima. And that is good hazama. And that is good azama. So what does Taisus say? I had the kasha. I thought it wasn't that it was Edishat Yachal Azima. Comes along the pasuk and says, no, this is hazama. This is hazama. Good. Now skip to the next Va'od Shleimer, the next circle with Reb Kiva Eger. Va'od Shleimer, another answer to my kasha, says Taisus. De gabi edus de ben Grusha and Chalutza. By the case of Ben Grusha and Chalutza, our case where they gave edus about being a chalol, about his father Cohen marrying a Grusha, loy chashinan klal ba'ata yochel azima. We're not concerned about the idea of ata yochel azima. Demehecha nafkelon debainan edus shata yochel azima. Because what's the source of edus shata yochel azima? Mikasher Zaman, from the pasuk of Kasher Zaman. V'hamuchach b'gemara the Kasher Zaman lo nechtav legabe edus to ben Grusha. V'lo koi klal alei b'shum tzad sheba'olam. So says Taisus, you're right. It's a great question. You don't have edus shata yochel azima. So the first day it says, not true. Your kasha's wrong. I do have edus shata yochel azima. Where's the hazama? Where's the kasher zamam? That's why we're delivering Makos over here. That's exactly what we're doing over here. Says the second day, no, it's edus shata yochel azima. And the Makos is not creating edus shata yochel azima. So then, what do I do with the klal? So why is it good edus? Says Tosos, no. Edus shata yochel azima is only needed where hazama is applicable. But where hazama is not applicable, so the klal of edus shata yochel azima is not necessary. Wow. Whoa. Lamai nafkamina. This is nafkamina sheba nafkaminas. Let's go. Number one. What's the machloikis? Before we get to nafkaminas, we're going to get to nafkaminas. What's the machloikis going on here? How do you... First, Taisus starts off and says, it's not edus shata yochel azima. Again, the assumption of the first Taisus is just as much as I assumed, is that the klal of edus shata yochel azima is definitional to edus. If you don't have the ability to get kasher zamam, you don't have the ability to get the punishment that you wanted to intend, and there's no deterrent factor, so then go fly a kite. There's no credence, there's no weight to what you're saying in court. You're not going to be punished by this. Says Taisus in the first day, no, I am going to be punished. I am going to be punished. Good. So the first day in Taisus L'chora assumed that klal, in order to be edus, needs a punishment. Yet what Taisus was machadish, which it could be the second day it would not accept, is that we're watering down what kasher zamam means. Meaning what I thought up until today of kasher zamam is what? Means you got to get exactly the punishment that you intended to give. And if you're talking in the world of dinei nefashos, you better get dinei nefashos. And if you're talking about ruining this guy's reputation and his livelihood and working in the Beis Hamikdash for the rest of his life, then that's what you got to get. Says Taisus, no. All I need is a deterrence. Edus shata yochel azima means deterrent factor. It doesn't mean it has to be exactly parallel to what I intended to give. That's the chiddush of Taisus in the first day. Maybe the second day says, where did you get that from? It's kasher zomam. Kasher zomam means not deterrent. Kasher zomam means what you intended to give. And only that. So the second day al-Khayra couldn't hold like the first day because he doesn't hold to this new svara of a general deterrence. It's not what the Torah said. The Torah says you need what you intended to give. And that's only that. So then Taisus is stuck with a kasha. So Taisus is saying, if I'm not going to accept Malkus to be kasher zomam, so then what? I'm going to now have to explain away. So why is this acceptable edus? So Taisus therefore has to say, I have a new chiddush, not in kasher zamam. I have a chiddush in edus shata yochel azima. That only in areas that you could be mekayim, kasher zamam, are those the areas where the edus only has water and weight, holds water, if it's going to be efshar lazima to get that actual punishment. But if you're not going to be mekayim kasher zamam anyways, because why? I'm going to give malchus, like this case of Ula, like this case of Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, so I don't need edus shata yochel azima. My nafkamina, listen to this nafkamina. Noida Yehuda has a tshuva. The Noida Yehuda has a tshuva, and Noida Yehuda says there was a woman who was mezana. And the Eidim walked into court and they said, we want to answer this woman on her husband because we saw her being mezana. And the Bezdin starts questioning and cross-examining the witnesses. And the Gemara tells us as follows. The Gemara later on in Sanhedrin, Adaf Mem Aleph from a base. The Gemara says, the Gemara Mem Aleph from a base. I'm going to say it outside, but the Gemara is over here. Ma bein chakiris lebedikas. I'll say it inside. Chakiris echad omer eni yodea edusim betela. Bedikas omer echad eni yodea va'afilu shnayim omer enani yodin edusim kayemes. Michti idi v'idi da'araisa. Here, the Gemara says there are different type of questions that we ask the edim when we cross-examine them. Certain questions that are called chakiros is a yom. Right? The Gemara goes. The Gemara, that's exactly what this Gemara is about. Which questions are chakiras and which questions are abdikas. So the bdikas are more details. What was the weapon? What was the color of the weapon? Chakiras is when it happened. So the Gemara says a difference between chakiras and bdikas is that if you ask chakiras and the edim say, "I don't know when it was," so then the Gemara says the edus is thrown out. But if you ask chakiras, bedikas, about the tree or about the weapon, about certain details, and they say Ani Odea, the edus is still good. So Gemara asks, why? Michti idi v'idi da'araisa. We have sources in the Torah for both of those questions, both chakiros and bedikas. Why shouldn't they all be cross-examining the witnesses, right? This is the perfect night to talk about chakiros and bedikas. Tomorrow's testimony, right? The idi v'idi da'araisa, komi. Teragidi v'idi da'araisa, maishna chakiris, umayshna b'dikis, amr lei hachiashta. Bechakiris amr eni yodea edusim betela. By chakiris, the edus is thrown out. If he says eni yodea, why? Tahavila edus shiata yochol azima. Because the when is now going to affect hazama. So now you say eni yodea when it comes to hazama. So when it comes to edus, now the edus is going to be thrown out. B'dikas amr echad eni yodea edusim kayemes. It's Eidashata Yachal Azima. It's still Eidashata Yachal Azima. Whether or not you know what color the weapon or not was, it would be nicer if you had more information. And there's a mitzvah for Bezdin to clarify even bdikas if they can. But if the Eidim respond, I don't remember or I don't know, so then it's still good. Why am I talking about this? How do we get on to Eni Yodea? Oh, right, good, excellent, thank you. So the Noda B'Yehuda says, so the Eidim walked in, and they were talking about this nus. And he was asking a question about when it happened. Chakira. Zman. And they said, Eini Yodea. And the Noda B'Yehuda paskind that it's still good edus. So they asked the Noda B'Yehuda, what do you mean? And the Noda B'Yehuda asked himself. He says, what do you mean? It's Eidish Yata Yachal Azil. Says the Noda B'Yehuda, Ayin Toisus Makos Beizim and Beiz B'deya Shniya, Beizim and Aleph B'deya Shniya, that by Eidus, where it's not Shayach to fulfill Kasher Zomam, what's the Kasher Zomam here? You're going to answer the Aid's wife on his husband. That's not Kasher Zomam. That's another example of what? Ben Grusha, Ben Chalutza. So says the Noda B'Yehuda, you don't need Eidashata Yachol Azima when it comes to this case, and therefore the Noda B'Yehuda, based on our Taisus in Makos, based on the analysis, the second day in Taisus, how we knew to paskin like the second day over the first day, that's what the whole tshuva is about. But that ultimately that was the crux of the tshuva, and therefore the Noda B'Yehuda still accepted the Eidos, even though he said Eini Yodea by Chakiris, which L'chora should be against the Gemara of Mem Aleph on the base that it's Eidish Yad Yochel Azima. Says Tosis, you don't need Eidish Yad Yochel Azima where you're not going to have Kasher Zomam. So that's going to be nafkamina number one. Bisman Azeh, says the Noda B'Yehuda, coming out of a Tosis that you never heard of Truma, you never heard of Beis Hamikdash, and Tosis says no, and the Noda B'Yehuda says it's relevant Lamaisa, it's even relevant Ad Hayom Hazeh in this case. So the Beis Halevi got very upset when he saw this Noda B'Yehuda. Because the Beis Halevi said there's two halachos that we learn out from Eidish Shata Yochel Azima. One halacha is exactly what Noda B'Yehuda says. That if you can't apply Kasher Zomam, so then there's no din of Eidish Shatayach Lazima in terms of giving them the punishment. But says the Beis Halevi, there's another halacha of Eidish Shatayach Lazima, which is relevant whether or not the punishment is going to be effective, or whether even at Bizman Hazeh, we're going to have punishments. And that's the Beis Halevi proves that there's Eidish She'efsher Levatla. Meaning there's two halachos. There's one halacha about delivering the punishment that the Eidim intended to give. So that, Tosfos says that you don't have that over here. But says the Beis Halevi, but any idea by Chakiris, now that's a problem on the Bezdin, that they're not clarifying everything up to par. Says the Beis Halevi, even that has to be Eidish Shatayach Lazima. L'mashal, l'mal davar doima, the shaila I'll tell you is as follows. What's going to be the halacha in Eidish HaChodesh? Eidim come in and they want to give Eidish about Kiddush HaChodesh. So ask them in Chaskinuch, ask Reb Kiva Eger, why is it Eidish Shatayach Lazima? What, are you going to turn the Eidim into a moon? Where's the Eidish Shatayach Lazima? Where's the Eidish Shatayach Lazima? So according to the second day, it says, no problem. You don't need Eidish Shatayach Lazima. Says the Beis Halevi, of course you need Eidish Shatayach Lazima. You don't need the necessity to make them to get the punishment that they're going to deserve. But Bezdin still needs the Chakiris. And you still can't allow any Oideya in Eidos. Now Bezdin can't clarify the facts. Says the Beis Halevi, he proves, and we don't have time to go through all the proofs, he came out, proves it from a Gemara, that there's two halachas of Eidish Shatayach Lazima. One legabe the halacha of whether or not they're going to get the punishment. The other legabe any Yedei B'Chakiras. Bezdin didn't clarify the facts over here. Of course the Eidish is not going to stand if they say any Yedei B'Chakiras, even if the punishment is not going to be applicable, even in the case of Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, even in a case of Znus, or even in a case of Kiddush HaChodesh. Reb Kiva Eger had a different answer. Reb Kiva, yeah. Bezdin has to qualify the Eidos. Bezdin has to make sure that these Eidim, and they can only paskin on Eidos, that they're going to now not be able to say any Yedei B'Chakiris. That's part of Bezdin's Drisha V'Chakir. That's part of their cross-examining.
If they can't do it.
So then it's invalid Eidos for Bezdin to paskin based on. The Noida B'Yehuda said it's all punishment based. There's one halacha. It's all punishment based. And if you're never going to give the punishment, or in the case of Znus, you don't need Chakiris. Chakiris are not necessary. Says the Beis Halevi, no, you're mixing apples and oranges. There's one halacha legabe the punishment. You're right. You have a taisis like that. That doesn't mean to say that Bezdin doesn't have to ask Chakiris now. That doesn't mean that you could just throw out all Chakiris bisman hazeh, or by any case in halacha of Eidos that you're not going to need, that you're not going to get the punishment like Kiddush HaChodesh Avada, they're going to be Chakiris. Says the Beis Halevi, the Noda B'Yehuda missed apples and oranges, and he argued la halacha on his psak legabe the Zaina. It was a big tumult. Yeah. Right, so the Beis Halevi wants to, so that's what Noda B'Yehuda is going to say, and that's what everyone's going to say, where it's not, like the second day, where it's not shaykh.
That's like exactly what Tosfos is saying.
Right, so Beis Halevi is saying, Tosfos is saying, legabe the Eidim, legabe the Kasher Zama. But, legabe Chakiros, to now extend it and say that therefore, any Yodea by Chakiros is okay, I don't have to know about the Chakiros. I don't even have to ask and cross-examine the witnesses. Says the Beis Halevi, that's not what Tosfos said. All Tosfos says is that legabe the punishment, I don't have to deliver kasher zamam, and it doesn't have to be. It's still eidus on their part, even though they're not going to actually get the punishment. But Tosfos never said that now I don't even have to have a consistency in terms of the chakiros. The Noda B'Yehuda, rightfully so, he took the concept of Eidish Shatayach Lazima and said wherever it says anything based on Eidish Shatayach Lazima, that's going to go out the window in certain cases. And therefore, says the Noda B'Yehuda, just like in Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, Tosfos says you don't need Eidish Shatayach Lazima, according to the second day. So if I find a Gemara that says Chakiris is based on Eidish Shatayach Lazima, I also don't need it in all those cases. And any Odeya by Chakiris is good. Paskins and Noda B'Yehuda that there's no with the accepted Eidus. Says the Beis Halevi, that's not what Tosfos says. Tosfos says, I could accept this Eidus even though they're not going to get the punishment. But that never meant to say that now the Tzuras HaEdus changes and Hilchos Edus changes. Bezdin still has a halacha that he has to ask kashas. There's two halachas of Edus Shatei Yochel Azima. One, they have to get the punishment. Tosfos puts the brakes on there, that not always are they going to get the exact punishment. But what? There still has to be drishas and chakiras. There still has to be a consistency within the Edus. So therefore the Beis Halevi said, the Noda B'Yehuda took it far. Rightfully so. It's not such a... What? He was too literal, exactly. But Rabbi Isai, what comes out is something fascinating. Our Tosfos that we're learning right now is now two ways to read our Gemara. Again, the Gemara says, what do you do with V'yitzdiku v'yirshiyu? Why don't we add that to be the Dayanim? Says Tosfos, says the Gemara, that doesn't count towards the number of Dayanim. That tells you that Ben Grusha, Ben Chalutza, Edis for Ben Grusha, Ben Chalutza, they get Malkus. Yesh li Chakira. I want to be Chayker for a second. I want to ask a Chakira. What's the nature of that Malkus? Exactly what Dr. Bacon asked at the beginning of this year. Is that Xeris HaKosev? Or is that telling me that even though you thought there was no Kasher Zomam, there is Kasher Zomam. There is Kasher Zomam. Mo'ev Rabbi Isai, I think there are two ways to read our Gemara. Comes along the pasuk and says, "V'tzdiku es hatzadik v'yirshu es harasha." You have a case of people that lied that now are getting the exact punishment that they deserved, and the righteous person is made righteous, and now he gets malchus. And it's talking about a ben grusha, ben chalutza, the first sugya in Makos. What's the nature of Ula's din? It's absolutely not clear, and in my opinion, it's 2 days in Tosfos. According to the first day in Tosfos that asks, what happened to the halacha of Edus Shatei Yochel Azima? You never could have Edus if they don't have the ability to get Hazama. Tosfos comes on to a chiddush. Any deterrent creates Hazama. And that makes it Edus Shatei Yochel Azima. If that's the case, Rabbi Isai, so then the drasha of Ula and our Gemara in Sanhedrin is telling me not that you get Malchus even though it's a lav shem bo maisa. Again, the Gemara had a kasha. It's a lav shem bo maisa loisane. You can't get malchus. So I need Xeris HaKosev to tell me that's malchus. That's not what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is saying you plug it back in to be what? Not only that you get malchus to an exception to the rule. This is kasher zomam. This is classic hazama. This is just like the guy who gets nefoshos when he talks about someone who's chayiv capital punishment. Just like the guy who's mechayiv moment when he's talking about in financial matters. So too a ben grusha ben chalutza gets kasher zomam. That's day number 1 in Tosfos. Day number 2 in Tosfos learns our Gemara absolutely not like that. More like Dr. Bacon said in the first case. No kasher zomam. You don't need Edus Shatei Yochel Azima. Why don't I need Edus Shatei Yochel Azima? Because there's no kasher zomam. Because you're not getting kasher zomam. So why are you getting malchus? That's the Xeris HaKosev. Even though it doesn't fit the bill for malchus, it's a classic losana, which is a lav shem bo malchus. Afal piche in the Torah is mechadish, so you get malchus. But not to say that that's now hazama. That's not hazama. That's just an exception to the rule. Even though it's a lav shem bo maisa, you get malchus. What's the nafkamina? Who cares what the lumdus is? Bottom line, Rabbi, these guys are getting lashes. Who cares what the reason is? No, I have a big nafkamina, Rabbi say. There are certain halachos that apply to hazama. The Mishnah in Makos says hazama only applies ad sheyuzmu es kulon, until you give hazama to every single aid. Let's say I walk into court with 4 aidim. We didn't need 4 aidim, but the 4 of us were groupies. We saw it together. We saw the case together. Gemara says you don't get the punishment of hazama until every single guy gets the punishment, gets caught in a lie. So now I have a kasha. When it comes to a ben grusha, ben chalutza, and there were 4 guys that are testifying that this kohen slept with a grusha, and now the child's a chol, and they come into court, and only one of them or 2 of them are caught in a lie of kasher zama. If you hold like the first day in Tosfos, that this is a parsha of kasher zomam, and that's the nature of Ula's chiddush, hey, you're off scot-free. The parsha of Hazama applies. If you hold no, that this is a Xeris HaKosev, but it's really just to get rid of the problem of a lav shem bo maisa loikin olav. It's a lav shem bo maisa loikin olav. 2 guys lied over here. 2 guys are enough to actually be considered lying. So therefore, we're going to give them Makos over here anyway. Major nafkaminas over here. What happens if what? Other limitations. We can go through a lot of rules that apply to Hazama that now will all be totally on these 2 days in Taisis. So it comes out, we didn't get to go on in the Rambam, we're going to finish now. It comes out that our Shaila of the Gemara, of how to read the Gemara, of what V'tztiku V'rishu is telling you, bottom line, that it's not coming to tell you how many dayanim you need, but it's rather coming to tell you that a ben Grusha, ben Chalutza actually gets Malkis, now as an Afkamina, whether or not it's Midin Hazama or it's not Midin Hazama, and could even have a nafkamina in a case of a zoina bisman hazeh, based on Toysis's lumdis of whether or not kasher zamam applies in such a case. Yeshkaya.